Hello people, I am the Real Comic Book Gamer, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my spoiler-free, no spoilers, thoughts on Star Wars The Force Awakens. So if you want to hear spoilers, my spoiler review should be up at around the same time this is. But anyway, sorry for my voice sounding so weird. I went to the Star Wars Marathon, and so I lost my voice during that, but I really wanted to get a video up real quick, and I just got home, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to push through this and do this, even if my voice sounds weird. So sorry if it cracks or anything during this, because I lost my voice. It sounds all weird. Anyways, let's get into it. The first thing I have to say about this movie is disappointing. It is very disappointing to me. This is my opinion, by the way. If you love the movie, that's great, but this is just all my opinion, and I was very disappointed with the movie. I saw all the great ratings it got, and I was like, yeah, I can't wait. And it just, I went in there, I was like, what is this? Not to say there's not good stuff in it. There is. The movie looks fantastic. The cinematography, the effects, it looks great. It looks pretty. And there are some shots in there that you're like, whoa, George Lucas would have never taken those shots. They look amazing. And some of the action is just great. Most of the action is great, besides some stuff towards the end, and it's like, that's just pretty bad. But besides that, like, the action's fantastic. You get some really cool shots and stuff, and it looks great. But that's kind of where the compliments end for me. There's some other good stuff, like, for instance, Oscar Isaac and Finn. Well, John Boyega's character, they have great chemistry. The only problem is they're on screen together for about 3 minutes. And so when they're on screen, you're like, yeah, this is great. This feels sort of like old Star Wars, and that's it. The rest of the movies, to me, does not have a Star Wars-y feel at all. Say what you want about the prequels, but they felt like they're abominations, but they felt like they took place in the Star Wars universe. This does not. There's a lot of Star Wars stuff that they go willy-nilly with, and they just change because they can. It's like, what? I don't remember that happening. Oh, like, I don't remember anything like that. Okay, J.J. Abrams, he did it because he can. Okay, I get it. I feel like a lot of things happen in this movie because reasons. Like, that just seems to be J.J.'s driving force behind it. It's just because reasons, guys. And, yeah, it was just some stupid stuff happens. Character development in this, there's little to none, and it's terrible. The character development that there is in this movie is just awful. To me, that's why I felt like was really horrible in this movie, which is a shame, too, because the original trilogy had, like, the best character development of all time, in my opinion, in Luke Skywalker across 3 movies. But even in just A New Hope, just the first movie, just look at the journey Luke goes on from being this whiny little farm boy who's complaining about the fact that he's a moisture farmer, he's never going to leave there and all that, to by the end he's this guy fighting for the rebellion, and he has a cause and stuff, and he's changed a lot, and that's just in one movie. And this, the characters, like, still, some of them change a bit, but the ones that do, they kind of just jump there. There's not, like, any progression. They just jump there from their one place to another. It's like, okay, that's quick. Or others that just, there's no changing or anything, or, like, there's no development. They're not necessarily that you have to be introduced and then change a ton, but there's, like, no character progression or arc or anything there. It's just, okay, like, there's not good character development in this. And I found myself not really caring for any of the new cast. Like, I liked Poe Dameron, and that was kind of it. Finn's character is, I compared him to a very, very toned-down Jar Jar, because he's kind of a bumbling guy, and that's the way it goes. And there's a lot, he's a tongue-in-cheek character is what he is. He's not near as bad as Jar Jar, by the way. I'm not trying to say that, but I'm trying to say he's like a really toned-down Jar Jar, and the fact that he's a very tongue-in-cheek character. Almost everything he says is a joke. It's like, what? Also, the one-liners and the writing in this are not very clever. It's not like, just because Harrison Ford's saying it does not make it clever. It's like some of the writing is like, okay, you can do that, but it does, just because Harrison Ford's saying it doesn't make it a witty one-liner. It sounds bad. Like it didn't sound good. And then there are some supposed to be very emotional scenes that fall flat on their face for me. Like, characters get tears in their eyes, and then the music starts getting all emotional. And I'm just like, okay, I don't care about this character or anything, so can we move on to something I like? And it just stays there in that instance, and in that moment. I'm just like, can we move on? Now, as far as acting goes, the acting's great in the movie. The acting is not a fault of the movie at all. It's great. It's just the characters, like, the writing, they just, I didn't care about them. They weren't likable, not in the least bit. The only ones I really care about were people from the original cast, because I already had previous history with them. These new characters are like, okay, I don't care about you. Can we just have one about the original cast? Even though they're like super old now, it doesn't matter to me. They're still more interesting than you. And there are some parts where it's just like, JJ, please, this isn't Star Trek, JJ. There's one specific scene early on where it's like, this is not Star Trek, okay? You need to realize this. But he treats it a lot like Star Trek. And again, just this movie did not feel like it took place in the Star Wars universe. There's so much stuff. Like, if this did not take place in the Star Wars universe, this could be a good movie. Because you could just buy all this BSing around. But since it's a Star Wars movie, there's stuff that happens. It's like, that does not make sense. That does not line up with what we've seen previously. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But, yeah, not much more I can say without getting into spoilers. Again, the actions majority of the time is great. The acting is really good, and it looks fantastic. But that's kind of it for the good things in this movie. Everything else, like the main story, I didn't care about. The characters, I didn't care about. There are some things that happen that are just like, that's just why. Overall, I can't rate this movie, but I will say this. A few things to let you guys know my indication of this movie. When I came out of theater, I looked at my friends. I was like, surprisingly, I really want to know what George Lucas would have done with an Episode 7. I would have rather seen what George Lucas would have done, and that's saying something considering how bad he did with the prequels. And also, I have to rank this in my rank of Star Wars movies. It goes Empire Strikes Back #1, Return of the Jedi #2, A New Hope #3, Revenge of the Sith #4, Force Awakens #5, Phantom Menace #6, and then Attack of the Clones #7. That's my ranking of Star Wars movies. So yes, I like Revenge of the Sith better than this movie. And no, I'm not going off of any nostalgia or anything. I saw all the movies because I just went to the Star Wars marathon. I saw every single one, so I know what I rank the movies as. And maybe that's the problem. The fact that I saw 3 Star Wars films prior to this that were so superior to it that when I went into it, I was expecting something close to that level, and it wasn't even close. Maybe that was part of the problem, but my main problem is the fact that it did not feel like Star Wars, and there's so many things that just don't add up. Anyways, those are my thoughts on The Force Awakens. Please do not leave anything spoilery in the comments of this video. Go do that on the spoilers video, guys. Please don't do it on this video. I don't want to ruin it for anyone. But please let me know in the comments below what are your non-spoiler thoughts if you have seen the movie. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, please give it a like.